Have you ever been told you're too independent or too quiet? Society often misunderstands seniors who enjoy solitude, but the truth is your love for alone time is a sign of powerful personality traits that most people don't realize. From deep thinking to emotional independence, these qualities shape a unique and fulfilling way of life. Stick around until the end, because we're diving into 10 distinct traits that reveal the hidden strengths of those who thrive in their own company. You might just discover something surprising about yourself. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe. Turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now, let's get started. Trait 1. Deep thinkers. Walter rises with the dawn, as he has for decades, slipping into the familiar rhythm of his morning ritual. He settles into his weathered armchair by the window, the cushions molded perfectly to his frame. After years of quiet companionship, in his hands a book lies half open, its pages worn from countless readings. But his gaze drifts elsewhere. He watches the first rays of sunlight spill through the trees, painting the world in soft gold and shadows. To an outsider, it might look like idle daydreaming, a man lost in the haze of early hours. But Walter knows the truth. He's not just staring, he's thinking deeply and deliberately. His mind is alive, wandering through the corridors of memory, piecing together the threads of a life well lived. Some might fill silence with noise, music, chatter, the hum of a screen, but Walter cherishes it. For him, solitude is not a void to escape, it's a canvas for reflection. People who thrive in their own company often carry this remarkable trait. They are deep thinkers. They don't shy away from the quiet. They lean into it, using it as a tool to unravel the mysteries of themselves and the world around them. Where others might see an empty moment, Walter sees an opportunity to ponder the past, to sift through the lessons of seemingly insignificant days, to find meaning in what once felt fleeting. A child's laugh from years ago, a fleeting glance from a stranger, a decision he once regretted. These fragments resurface in his mind, no longer trivial, but profound in their quiet significance. In a world that races forward, where people dart from task to task, deep thinkers like Walter choose a slower path. They pause, they breathe, they let their experiences settle like sediment in a still pond until clarity emerges. This isn't past 70, it's a deliberate act of awareness. They notice what others overlook, the way the wind carries the scent of rain before a storm, the faint tremor in a loved one's voice that betrays hidden worry, and the subtle shift in their hearts as time marches on. They revisit old memories, not with bitterness or longing for, with a gentle curiosity. What did this teach me? How did it shape who I am? This practice isn't just introspection, it's a bridge between yesterday and tomorrow, a way to make peace with what was and to step into what will be with intention. For Walter, these moments of solitude have become a wellspring of wisdom. He's learned to recognize the counter or of his soul, what lifts his spirit, what weighs it down, what truly matters. When the noise of life fades away, he's discovered that being alone isn't synonymous with loneliness. It's a gateway to self-understanding. In the stillness, he's found not just answers, but a deep, unshakable contentment, a quiet joy that doesn't need an audience to feel real. I'll contrast this with the modern rush, where so many fear the absence of distraction. Phones glow late into the night, screens flicker with endless dreams of information, and silence is drowned out by the clamor of constant connection. Yet those who embrace solitude possess a rare gift. They give their minds room to breathe, to process, to evolve. All of history whispers of this truth. Thinkers like Thoreau, artists like Van Gogh, and philosophers like Nietzsche all found brilliance in their alone time, their greatest revelations born in the hush of their thoughts. Deep thinking isn't the same as overthinking. It's not a spiral of worry or a trap of regret. It's a liberation, a chance to explore ideas without fear, to ask questions without needing immediate answers, and to see life through a lens of wonder that others rarely pause to polish. Walter's solitude He is never dull, his mind homes with activity, revisiting a book's forgotten passage, imagining a conversation that never happened, dreaming of a future yet to unfold. His alone time is a tapestry woven with meaning, each thread a thought carefully considered. If you, like Walter, find yourself drawn to these quiet interludes, if you relish the chance to sit with your thoughts and let them bloom, then you might share this extraordinary trait. Trait 2. Emotionally independent. Walter enjoys the occasional lunch with old friends. It's the warmth of their laughter stirring memories of younger days. But he doesn't crave a crowd or cling to constant company. He's never been one to chase validation, to measure his worth by the number of voices filling his space. Some might mistake his preference for solitude as a sign of isolation, whispering that he must be lonely behind closed doors. Walter only smiles at the assumption. He knows the reality is far richer. He's perfectly at ease. And his skin. This is a defining trait among those who savor their alone time, especially seniors like him. Emotional independence, unlike those who lean on the world to prop up their happiness. Endless parties, the applause of others, a steady stream of noise. Walter finds his fulfillment from within. He doesn't need a calendar brimming with plans or a phone buzzing with messages to feel complete. For him, joy isn't a gift bestowed by external hands. It's a flame he tends himself, fueled by self-acceptance and intercom. He's watched others stumble into the same traps over the years, clean defeating friendships out of dread, chasing one event after another to outrun the quiet, tethering their contentment to someone else's presence. But Walter has learned a different truth. The ability to stand alone, emotionally unshaken, is a strength few ever master. This independence isn't about cold detachment or rejection of others, it's about balance. Walter can savor a lively dinner with family or a heartfelt talk with a friend, but he doesn't need those moments to feel whole. His well-being isn't a fragile thing dangling on the whims of others' attention or approval. He's weathered loneliness, rejection, and the slow drift of all companions and emerged steady, not because he's immune to feeling, but because he is rooted in himself. Emotional independence means he can spend an evening alone, sipping tea, flipping through a novel, or simply listening to the hum of his thoughts without a pang of restlessness. It means he can make choices without pulling the crowd, trust his instincts without endless reassurance, and find peace in his own company without a hint of despair. Walter's days unfold with a quiet grace, a morning stroll through the park, the crunch of leaves underfoot, an afternoon lost in a symphony on the radio, and nights spent journaling thoughts. He's never felt compelled to share. These pleasures are his alone, not borrowed from someone else's presence. When he does connect with others, it's a choice, not a crutch. A meeting of equals rather than a plea for completion. That's the gift of emotional independence. Relationships become a joy, not a lifeline. Society doesn't always understand this. To prefer solitude is often misread as withdrawal, a signal of sadness or disconnection. But the emotionally independent know better. Their bonds with friends, with family, are often the strongest, built on mutual respect rather than necessity. They don't cling out of fear or demand out of emptiness. They engage because they want to, not because they have to. This freedom is intoxicating, knowing that no matter who enters or exits their orbit, they remain enough. It's a confidence that carries them through life's uncertainties, a quiet assurance that their happiness is theirs to cultivate. Walter wouldn't trade this for anything. He spent years crafting a life that sustains him, a world of his own making that no amount of outside praise could rival. If you, like him, find solace in your presence, if you can sit with yourself and you're not just content, but complete, then you hold one of life's most precious traits. It's a rare and beautiful thing, this ability to be your anchor. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Trait 3. Highly observant. Walter has always had a knack for seeing what others miss. While the world hurries past, caught in the blur of schedules and screens, he lingers on the details. The way the leaves turn from green to amber as autumn creeps in, the faint lines etched around a friend's eyes that whisper of joys and sorrows untold, the fleeting warmth and a cashier's tone when she mentions her child. This isn't just a habit, it's a gift, one shared by many who thrive in solitude, especially seniors like Walter. They are highly observant. Alone time sharpens the skill, offering a stillness that lets them truly see, free from the chatter of crowds or the pull of distraction. They tune into the world with clarity others rarely find. Walter doesn't just notice the surface, he digs deeper, sensing the stories beneath. He's learned that observation is more than a passing glance, it's an act of understanding. He can spot the tension in a neighbor's smile, the hesitation in a friend's step that hints at unspoken trouble, and the quiet pride in a stranger's voice when they talk about something dear. Over the years, this has made him a master of reading people. Not out of judgment, but out of empathy. He knows who lifts his spirit and who deems it as. Uses his circle with care. This heightened awareness doesn't stop at people, it spills into everything. Walter sees the world and layers, the way shadows dance on his wall at dusk, the rhythm of a bird's song outside his window, and the faint creak of his porch as the seasons shift. Where others might rush by, he pauses to absorb it all. Fine king beauty in the overlooked. Highly observant people don't just skim life's surface, they dive into its depths, catching the nuances that give a texture. This makes them intuitive, insightful, and often wise beyond what words can capture. What sets this trait apart is how it fuels appreciation, because Walter notices more. He cherishes more. A sunrise isn't just light, it's a symphony of colors unfolding. The smell of rain isn't just weather, it's a memory of childhood afternoons. The worn armrest of his chair isn't just furniture, it's a silent witness to years of quiet thought. These small wonders don't slip past him, they anchor him, filling his days with a richness that doesn't demand fanfare. He never feels life is racing away because he's always present, drinking at one subtle sip at a time. Being highly observant isn't passive, it's active, intentional. It deepens connections with the people who matter, letting Walter sense when to listen, when to speak, when to simply sit in silence. It sharpens his navigation of the world, guiding him through relationships with a steady hand. And it turns even the most ordinary moments into something extraordinary, a gift he unwraps daily, alone, but never lonely. If you've ever caught yourself lingering on the details others breeze past, if you find a quiet thrill in watching the world unfold without meeting to announce it, then you might share this remarkable trait. It's a quiet power, one worth celebrating. Trade for selective with relationships. Walter has never been the sort of person who thrives on an expansive network of social ties or feels compelled to surround himself with a bustling crowd. Over the decades, through moments of reflection and lived experience, he's come to a profound realization. When it comes to relationships, quality far outweighs quantity in every meaningful way. While some people seem to amass acquaintances like collectors, gathering trinkets, flitting from one social circle to another, always chasing the next casual connection, Walter has chosen a different path. He has carefully nurtured a small, precious handful of deep, enduring friendships, bonds forged in interest, trust, and tested by time. This deliberate selectivity isn't just a preference, it's a cornerstone of his character, a defining trait often observed among seniors who cherish their solitude and guard their inner peace. For Walter and others like him, this selectively stems from a harder and understanding. Not every relationship deserves a place in your life, and personal energy is a finite resource far too valuable to squander on fleeting, superficial, or emotionally taxing interactions. Rather than juggling a roster of dozens of loosely tied acquaintances, he pours time, attention, and heart into the few connections that truly resonate. 8 relationships rooted in mutual respect, unwavering trust, and a profound unspoken understanding. He recalls a younger version of himself, a man who once felt the societal tug to be more outgoing, to accept every invitation that came his way, to cling to connections that offered little beyond polite small talk or obligation. Back then he occasionally been to the pressure to prove his sociability to show the world he could keep up. But with age came clarity, and he arrived at a liberating truth. He owes no one an explanation for how he chooses to live, or who he chooses to let in. He'd rather sit across from one or two genuine friends who truly see him than share a room with 100 people who only know his name. The brilliance of the selective approach lies in the richness it brings to life. When you're not stretching yourself thin across a web of shallow ties, you unlock a deeper cups. Capacity to invest in the people who matter most, those who lived you, who honor your boundaries, and who care about you authentically, not just conveniently. These are the friendships that don't falter under the weight of distance or silence, the ones that endure not because of proximity or habit, but because of a shared, unshakable bond. Walter's life reflects this philosophy perfectly. A weekly phone call with a former colleague whose laughter still feels like home, a rare but cherished coffee date with a friend who knows its quirks as well as his dreams. These quiet, intentional moments hold more weight for him than any crowd or gathering ever could, because they're built on substance, not noise. This trait also carries a protective edge. Those who relish solve, shoot and choose their relationships with care have little patience for toxicity. They've honed the ability to spot and distance themselves from negativity, gossip, or lopsided dynamics that sap their joy. Life they know is too brief and too precious to waste on people who demur light rather than kindle it. Walter has walked away from more than one draining acquaintance without a backward glance, choosing instead to nurture the handful of relationships that bring him peace, spark happiness, and flow naturally without pretense or strain. He's not chasing numbers, he's cultivating meaning. And in that choice lies a quiet power, the confidence to prioritize it, his well-being, and the wisdom to recognize that true companionship isn't measured by this size of your circle, but by the depth of the connections within it. If you find yourself nodding along, if you prefer the intimacy of a soul-bearing conversation with a single trusted confidant over the clamor of a party packed with fleeting chatter, then you'll likely carry this trait as well. It's a mark of emotional maturity, a testament to self-respect, and a reflection of a lifeline. Intentionally, Walter's story reminds us that being selective isn't about isolation. It's about curation, building a small sturdy sanctuary of relationships that sustain you rather than scatter you. And yet, as compelling as this trait is, it's only part of the picture. The next trait on this list elevates this portrait of solitude-loving seniors into something even more striking, something that might catch you off guard with its originality. Stay with me. This one's worth the wait. Trait 5. Strong sense of identity. Walter has never been one to chase the latest fad or bend over backward to win someone's approval. You won't catch him splurging on a shiny new gadget just because it's the talk of it town, nor you find him dragging himself to gatherings that hold no appeal or tweaking his views to blend into the crowd. That's because Walter possesses something increasingly rare in a world obsessed with trends and validation, a rock-solid sense of identity. He knows precisely who he is, his likes, his dislikes, his values, his passions, and he's utterly at ease with it all. He doesn't rely on the applause of others to feel whole. This self-assurance, this clarity of self, is one of the most profound gifts that solitude bestows. The uninterrupted space to listen to your voice, to peel back the layers of expectation, and to discover who you are when the world is watching. For many, life as a tough of war between external pressures, family demands, cultural norms, the relentless churn of what's in, and their quiet instincts. But those who embrace solitude like Walter learn to tune out the noise and turn inward. Instead, they carve out time to reflect, to sift through their thoughts, to pursue what genuinely stirs their soul rather than what's dictated by the crowd. Walter can still recall his younger days when the weight of others' opinions pressed heavily on him. He worried about measuring up, saying the right thing, wearing the right clothes, keeping pace with everyone else's milestones. But as the years rolled on and he leaned into his alone time, a shift occurred. He began to ask himself, whose life am I living? The answer became clear, his own, and with that realization came a freedom, He hadn't known he was missing the freedom to approve of himself, to set his compass, to let go of the need to perform. This strong sense of identity manifests in beautifully simple ways. People like Walter don't dress to impress, they dress to feel good. They don't pick hobbies to flaunt on social media. They choose what lights them up inside, whether it's tinkering in a workshop, losing themselves in a novel, or tending to a garden that no one else will ever see. They speak their minds with quiet conviction, even when their perspective diverges from the mainstream, because their beliefs are forged from XP. Koreans, not borrowed to fit in. What makes this trait so extraordinary is the peace it delivers, a deep, steady calm that settles in when you stop running after acceptance. Life simplifies. The exhausting game of people pleasing fades away, replaced by focus on what genuinely fulfills you, what aligns with your truest self. Walter's days unfold on his terms. He plays the music that moves him, even if it's decades out of fashion. He spends his hours immersed in pursuit that bring him contentment, perhaps a morning pruning roses, an afternoon with a dog-eared book, or an evening savoring the stillness of his own company. He doesn't feel compelled to justify his choices to anyone, and that's the crux of it. He's at home, and his skin flaws and all. If you've reached a similar place where you no longer feel the it's to prove your worth, where you embrace your quirks and stand tall in your individuality, then you to wield this powerful trait. It's a quiet triumph, a declaration of self that doesn't need a megaphone. But here's the just the next raid on this list takes the self-possession somewhere unexpected.